There's a ton. I think it's the easiest place to play quarterback in the NFC outside of the Los Angeles Rams. You're going to have a top 10 offensive line. You'll have a top 10 run game. I think you have one of the most skilled pass-catching groups in the NFL. If we think of the 3 receivers they have and add in T.J. Hawkinson, you'll have a top 5 defense. You just can't be bad. Yeah. We've watched Kyler play at a very high level for stretches in this league. If the Vikings get that version of Kyler, there's no question they're going to contend to win this division. I think it's one thing for each party in this grouping, Kevin O'Connell and Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray, you're not a playmaker in this offense. Okay, we just need you to hit the open guy. If I'm Kevin O'Connell, I'll get him open. And if you're Kevin O'Connell, I think the big challenge is, can he build in passing lanes in their play-action pass game for Kyler's vision? That's going to be, can we stretch this offensive line a little bit horizontally in the play-action game to create some of those really high-end throwing lanes that Sean Payton used to do for Drew Brees, and that passing game with that play-action game over the middle with those crossers are easier to see for Kyler because he's always struggled to do that.
Joe Burrow and the Bengals are doing something, and this is not new. They played last year in the preseason as well. That was a change from where they had been in prior years. What I would say about this, though, is the fact that they're doing it again only further underscores it. I think this organization, they wouldn't say it out loud, they know this is a pressure year.
Yeah.
Think about some of the things that have been different, unbangle-like this year, right? The team restructured the contract of Joe Burrow to create money to go out and acquire other players. They dipped heavily into free agency. Boye Mafe and Brian Cook, all kinds of additions on both sides of the ball, but mostly defense. They traded the 10th overall pick for Dexter Lawrence, who's coming off of a down season. Now, they think he has been amazing in training camp and is going to be the same player that we saw in 2023 and 2024. I think Cincinnati, even if they haven't told us out loud, has acknowledged they know 2026 matters gigantically. Like this team that Joe Burrow once said had a window that was as long as his career, understands that in the NFL that may not be the case. Even if your quarterback is one of the 5 best players at his position, you got to continue to replenish the resources around him to have a chance to make a real mark in this conference.
We're now joined by Steelers reporter Brooke Pryor. The timing on that was impeccable. Brooke, fill us in on everything we need to know tonight.
Thanks, Laura. If we see Aaron Rodgers tonight, and that is a big if, it would only be for 1 to 2 series. Coach Mike McCarthy said that he plans to play his quarterbacks in 3 groups. The starter going 1 to 2 series. The next group will finish out the first half, and the last group will play the entire second half. McCarthy, though, said that Aaron Rodgers really wants to play in the preseason. But when we talked to Aaron Rodgers later that day, he said that he doesn't really see the benefit to playing in the preseason, and that if he plays, great. If he doesn't, great. So a little bit of a mystery still in Pittsburgh about whether or not Rodgers will be on the field. One interesting thing to note, though, when Rodgers last played with Mike McCarthy in the preseason, he was in Green Bay, and they played the Pittsburgh Steelers. Rodgers played 1 series and threw a touchdown pass in that one. Now, what is not a mystery is that Jordan Love will start on the other side. At least that's what Matt LaFleur said earlier this week, that barring him changing his mind, Love will play. And that's especially notable because even though Love has started the preseason opener in each of the 3 seasons that he's been the starter, a year ago is when he tore the ligament in his non-throwing thumb, caused him to have surgery and miss a little bit of time. But he is planning to play tonight. Won't look like he does in the regular season, but he will be out on the field.
How much could these missed reps impact him, or you think they can kind of just look at what he did in the Hall of Fame game and live with that? Doesn't seem serious. We should point out the rib injury.
I do think missing the game is a huge miss for him, though, opportunity-wise. I'm in the camp that coming off of what he did in the Hall of Fame game, if he had done it again, it was going to become a very real conversation in Arizona. Just by the way it looked, the young man did not look stressed at all. He saw it cleanly. The ball went to the right place at the right time in the right location. You do that again, and you, in your building, start to have a conversation of, we love Jacoby Brissett. We're a very young football team. Let's see what we got in this young man. So I do think him missing this game and trying to build off of that Week 1 performance is a loss for him. It's not going to be the end of the world for the long run. He's more than likely going to play at some point this season, but I thought he could have been the opening day starter. I don't think he can be while missing this preseason game.
Yeah, the operation is the word I was thinking of as well, Dan. It's almost like what Fernando Mendoza is learning is not an NFL offense, it's an NFL language.
Sure.
The reason why Kirk Cousins is going to start Week 1 and until, at least according to the Raiders, maybe the entire season, but until proven otherwise, is because Kirk Cousins speaks this offensive language fluently already. He knows the ins and outs. He can get the team lined up, and everything that you need to do prior to the snap, Kirk Cousins can do at a high level. I think a lot of the stuff after the snap, Fernando Mendoza will, in short time, be able to do at a higher level than Kirk Cousins. But just getting in and out of the huddle, I know it sounds rudimentary. It's the #1 overall pick. You guys are talking about getting out of the huddle and getting guys lined up correctly.
Yeah.
We are.
Take it for granted, right?
Yeah, it's that big of an adjustment. And in college football, like other than the service academies, no one really operates from under center that much. but Indiana was on the extreme in terms of infrequency of going under center. So it is an adjustment, and Fernando Mendoza offers a ton of upside. But before we tap into that, we got to get the fundamentals squared away.
Thurman.
Well, you know what? When I took James out on the football field for the first time at the new Highmark Stadium, and, you know, he was impressed with the building, the architecture of it and how everything. But the thing that surprised me when we got out on the football field and he was right there on the grass and he was like, you know, I'm a little bit faster when I'm on grass. I'm like, oh, really? Are you? And I said, well, what type of year should I expect out of you? And he said, even a better year than I had last year. So I'm like, well, you led the league in rushing. I mean, you had over 10-plus touchdowns, 12-plus touchdowns, and you said that you can get better. And he said, yeah, I can get better. I think I'm going to catch the ball a little bit more this year. I'm just like, oh, well, that's something that we haven't seen out of James Cook, you know, over the past 3 or 4 years. We've seen him catch some passes downfield, but, you know, he's looking for more crossing patterns. He's looking for more, you know, screens maybe. And so he's trying to become a all 3 down back, which I was very impressed to hear him say that. He was like, I got a little stronger during the offseason, and so now you'll probably see me out there a little bit more on 3rd down. I know Ty Johnson is our 3rd down back, and Ray Davis, but James Cook said that he wants to be out on the football field a little bit more. So I said, you know, to him, that's going to mean picking up the blitzes when they come from the defensive back or a linebacker, and he flat out said, I'm ready for it. So I'm expecting another big year from James Cook.
Well, I mean, and then Joe Brady.
What is your expectation for D'Amico Ryans and the boys down there in Houston, who we know can certainly be a contender if they're able to play good football because of how good their defense is, right? Is that the thought?
Yeah, look, I think it's the best defense in the league, and I think the offense, you know, they've made some changes along the offensive line. They get that young receiving group they had last year, you know, kind of growing up to go along with the veteran solid pieces they have. I think it's an A-tier AFC team. You know, I think they're right there in it, and that's of all the teams I've seen, the defenses I've seen over the last few years, seeing them up close and personal, that felt like the most violent group. You know, those 49er defenses of a few years back really, really felt that way. I know Seattle obviously hoisted the trophy last year, but that group is violent, man. It is a physical group. And CJ, I don't know, he looks like he's in good shape. I know, like, he got a haircut, but he looks like he's lean and maybe move around a little bit more now with the shape he's in.
Status of kind of the Ramondre Stevenson, Trevion Henderson duo. Is that going to be a split backfield? Is that going to be Henderson and Stevenson? What are you kind of thinking there, and what are you hearing?
I think it's going to continue to be Ramondre Stevenson as the lead back for them. But I think as Trevion Henderson continues to come along, I think people don't realize there's more to understanding and performing at that running back position than just getting a handoff and running through a hole. It's understanding how to read blocks. The other side of it is the pass protection piece of it all. And I think for a rookie, it's hard to come in right away and understand blitz pickups, the communication between the quarterback. I think it's going to continue to be Stevenson as the lead back. But I think as Henderson continues to master this offense, it's going to be more and more on his plate. Like, he is a home run waiting to happen when he gets on the football field and when he's in that backfield. But I think what we've seen throughout training camp was them using him as a receiver, catching the ball out of the backfield and using his speed for mismatches against some of these linebackers. That's always been Josh McDaniels' specialty, mismatches, and he finds ways to get guys on islands to be able to create that separation.
We saw the clip on social of him talking to Jim Harbaugh, McDaniel that is, and saying, like, you have to have an absolute howitzer to make this play happen or whatever. So then it's a roll it to the left, throw back to the right sideline, I guess, and it's on a rope, obviously, which most of Justin Herbert's throws are. And you see McDaniel get super excited. The immediate reaction from everybody on the internet was like, oh, McDaniel's starting to realize that he has like an actual physical specimen as a quarterback. Not that Tua wasn't a phenomenal ball thrower, phenomenal timing route guy for him. They did amazing things together down in Miami. But it does feel like McDaniel's learning in real time just what Justin Herbert is. Remember, he can kick a field goal if he has to. He can punt if he has to. This guy can do it all. How do you feel about that relationship? And what should we expect as this thing continues to blossom, you think?
I'm excited to see it, man. Once we get it all together, I just think of like a master playbook, right? And you need like a different code to access different portions of the playbook. And McDaniel, we acknowledge, the creativity and how good a job he's done, but he's never had to access codes to some of the plays he's going to be able to call and run with Justin. So when you get that creativity, almost like an artist, and then you pair him with an enormous canvas, I mean, I'm excited to see what they end up painting. And I would also add on top of that, like, guys, get ready for this game. I know we won't see the guys tonight, the main guys. But when you look at this Chargers team, Pat, you're literally adding 2 all-pro level tackles. They went to the playoffs last year without either one of them. Now you add both those. You add the creativity. You get Omari and Hampton healthy for a whole season. And the guy you see leaping up and catching this ball right now, Ladd McConkey, in my opinion, was put on this earth to play in this offense. Like, he's going to go nuts.
This Patriots team, everybody's talked about the schedule is going to be harder, all of that stuff. This is a team that has gotten better. Drake May, only in his second year with Josh McDaniels, he now understands this offense and the why behind every single play. And I haven't even mentioned the fact that they've added an absolute stud on the outside in A.J. Brown. He's been going at it with Christian Gonzalez all training camp. The trash talking, all of that going on. The Patriots probably have the deepest wide receiver room in the entire NFL. They almost have more receivers than they can find to do with guys like Kayshon Boutte, Pop Douglas, and all of the guys, including Romeo Doubs. So this is a team that feels like, hey, we made it to the Super Bowl last year, but Braves told us the road to success is always under construction. So they're getting right back to business and they're grinding it out.